Welcome to Conversations. Inside of the Conversations tool, you will be able to manage all of your communication with your clients, your entire team's clients, and or your internal communication between you and your team members. Whenever you start inside of the Conversations tab, you will either land in the team inbox or in what's called My Inbox. But let's start at the very top. In the top left corner, you have this little plus button that allows you to start a new conversation and either message contacts or message a teammate. When you click on Message Contacts, you will be met with a single contact conversation or starting a group conversation. You'll select a phone number, select participants, add them to the conversation, and click on Create Conversation. Once you're happy with the recipient or recipients, you can start your conversation. Conversations can be had through multiple channels. Whether you're sending an email, SMS, or additional conversation channels, all can be had here. You will now note that we are underneath the team inbox. This will show all conversations that your account has with all contacts. You'll be able to see unread, all, recent, and starred conversations. You can select bulk actions and choose to mark all as read, mark as unread, star them, or remove the stars, and of course delete. Going back to all conversations, you can select individual ones to get to the same result. You also have the ability to filter by various filter values. You can choose who it's assigned to, if there's a follower attached, if a mention has been named, last message direction, last outbound message type, last message channel, and tag. Once you're happy with the filters, those will then apply. You can choose to sort by all messages, oldest, late, and oldest. And before we get to the individual communication methods, let's go back to the My Inbox and click on All. This will then sort only the individual conversations that are assigned to your account. These can be edited underneath Owner. You can also assign followers to individual contact records, but owners will show up directly inside of the My Inbox. When you click on the little expand button, you can see assigned to me and followed by me. If they are assigned to you, you are the owner of that contact. If they're followed by you, you are a follower. To assign a follower or an owner, we can go back to the team inbox, select a record, and choose follower. Now that I am assigned, I can go back to assigned to me, and I do not see that record we just added, but if I click on followed by me, that record is now added. Inside of the contact communication, you will see the phone number or email or the first and last name if those records are available. Next to this, you can choose the conversation type, you can choose to call, you can choose to archive this conversation, star and add to favorites, mark as read, and delete the conversation. You will then see the back and forth communication with this contact, whether there's been phone calls, text messages, email, and other forms of communication. You have 3 little dots below many of these communication standards that will give you additional details. In this case, I can hover on this little I and see that the phone number is not A2P compliant. This has caused an error with this message sending out. On the left-hand side, you have these little icons that will tell you what type of communication method was tried. If you have a failure and you think that it was a mistake, you have the ability to hit retry. Below this, you can choose the communication style. In this case, we have an SMS, WhatsApp, and internal comment. If I click on internal comment, I can tag one of my other team members and note something that is only visible to my team. They will then get notified of this notification inside of internal chat. Internal chat will then show you individual inboxes and communications where you are tagged, or if someone has chosen new conversation, messaged a teammate, and communicated with you, you can click Create New Conversation and chat with that team member here. Back to the team inbox or my inbox. On the right-hand side, we can see contact details. In this case, if we wanted to go to the contact record, we can click here. We can edit the owner, assign followers, and add additional tags. Below the contact details, we have all fields in which we can search for fields, add things like first name, last name, email, phone records, and of course, many other details based on your account. Once you're happy with the changes made, click on Save. Next, we have the ability to see D&D settings for this contact record. If your team or the contact has made any of these changes, these will be visible here. You can then click on Actions and choose to assign an opportunity to this contact, add them to a workflow, or see them in the client portal. If you choose to add an opportunity, you can either add to an existing or create new. When you create new, the Add Opportunity portal will show up and you can click on Create. On the far right-hand side, you have the ability to sort between contact details. You can see all activity, such as pages visited, forms, submissions, calls, and more. You'll also see the first attribution source, whether they were paid, organic, entered on the CRM. You can see additional associations, such as the opportunities or companies that they're attached to. If you click on Add to a company, you can either create a new company or add to an existing company, through which you can search for your company, find the company, and add them to that company record. They will now be associated to that company moving forward. If you'd like to associate a task, you can add a task here. You can also assign to individuals, add associated objects. You then have notes. All notes will show up, and you have the ability to add additional notes and associated contacts. If you want to book an appointment with this contact record, click on Calendar. You can then click on Add, and the Book Appointment tab will then show up. You can then assign team members, make sure it's connected to the correct calendar, and choose whether or not the status is confirmed and unconfirmed, add additional notes, guests, and book the appointment. Upcoming and past appointments will then show up in this record section. You can then click on Documents to add additional documents if you want to upload. You can choose whether this is internal, sent, or received. You also have the ability to view payments. You can see past transactions, subscriptions, invoices, and estimates with this contact record. This is a Conversations tab.